What happens when a world-class nutritionist uses blood panels, cellular biology, and fact-based science to create and monitor healthy eating plans with supplements for her clients? Everyone wins. Welcome to Power on Your Plate with Haylie Pomroy, an educational experience that gives you both the actionable and practical tools you can use every day to get your health, weight, and life back on track.
Hey guys, it's Haylie Pomroy here, and I'm a nutritionist. I'm an integrative healthcare practitioner. I own integrative healthcare clinics. I have the pleasure of traveling with many of my clients and helping them set up a protocol for progress and a plan for their success and how to be outrageously healthy. I didn't get into this industry because I thought nutrition was fun. Food had a different meaning for me. My kitchen was kind of my pharmacy. Food itself was what saved my life. You see, when I was 19, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. I'd always had health issues when I was younger. I had systemic eczema, severe food allergies, severe inhalant allergies, kind of puny when I was a kid is what they called failure to thrive. But it wasn't until I was 19 when after like several bouts with strep, I had a tonsillectomy. And I hemorrhaged with that tonsillectomy. And what they found out was that I hemorrhaged because I have what's called ITP, which is an autoimmune disorder that keeps you from clotting your blood effectively. So basically, whether it was a car accident or a surgery or childbirth, my body didn't have the capacity to form blood clots in order to stop bleeding. So I would hemorrhage. Well, I was on my way to college and vet school, actually at the time, and I couldn't really be bothered with this autoimmune disorder, which had smacked me in the face. And so I went kind of the allopathic route, even though I had been exposed to a lot of herbals and natural therapy and homeopathy and even chiropractic as a very young kid. I just was not in the space where that was the route I was going to take. So I went full bore on prednisone, 60 milligrams, and I was on anti-rejection drugs, Imurin and Cellcept. Took all kinds of things in order to try and get my body to kind of stabilize and get my platelet levels to stabilize. Unfortunately, none of those medications made me healthy. Quite the contrary. Those medications made me more and more sick. I started having joint inflammation. I started having kidney damage. I lost 36% of the function of my right kidney. My adrenals were very stressed and shot. I gained a lot of weight. My eczema came back with a vengeance, even though I was on a ton of prednisone, and I had to put going to vet school on hold and really get my health under control. I feel like I had this moment when I was in the hospital. I got a strep infection in my right kidney, and I had this moment where I said, there is no way I'm going to continue to live like this. Actually, there's not even sure if was my choice at that point. And so I put vet school on hold. I really took a passion for my biochem classes, and I learned everything I could learn about hematology, about the immune system, about autoimmunity, and everything kept taking me back to the biochemistry of the body being absolutely nutrient dependent, that there really wasn't a good pharmacological path for autoimmune issues. There really wasn't a good pharmacological path for chronic infection, that it was fortifying the body and nourishing the body with nutrients that would change the chemistry of the body and change the trajectory of my own health. So I'm going to take it back just a little bit. Before I was diagnosed, I actually was getting a degree in animal and agricultural sciences with a specialty in soil sciences. So soil sciences are people that study the soil and growth of crops and plants and livestock are fascinated with micronutrients. It is all about nutrient-rich soil will help growth of the plant. It will help resistance from bugs and diseases, funguses, locusts, you name it. And agricultural sciences is all about micronutrients, about feeds and feeding, and how you can use certain hormones to increase fat layering in an animal, a livestock, how you can increase B vitamins to lower stress in pigs in production, how you can use selenium and zinc to increase the immune system, how vitamin D can help fight off viral things. This was all this study that was coming back to me as I was struggling with my health. I thought, wait a minute, if the body is based on the biochemistry, the immune system, and everything is based on the chemistry and it's nutrient dependent, why couldn't I take all of this knowledge that I had learned in order to grow livestock, in order to grow crops, to apply that to my own body and my own health? So I really went back into a research environment and I started to study. I studied about, how the body creates platelets. What are the inflammation pathways? How do toxins affect the body's immune system to go completely out of whack and attack itself? Why was my body attacking its own platelets? And then how could I enrich my own soil, my own tissue, my own immune cells using micronutrients? And during that whole process, I started to develop a wellness plan for changing my own health and my own crisis that I was in the middle of. It was an academic advisor, Dr. Nancy Earlbeck, that introduced me to a holistic practitioner. And she said, Haylie, everything that you're pulling together with yourself, and you're engaging these hematologists and oncologists and immunologists, and you're starting to pull together kind of this whole journey and this whole pathway, I really think you might want to meet these people because they're looking at what we were calling alternative medicine at the time, or integrative medicine, at ways to do this for the human population. So that's kind of how I got a start in this. It all started with horses and sheep and cattle and pigs, and raising milo and soy and sorghum. And then a health crisis really took me to my knees, and I said, what have I learned to be true in science? Where have I seen true changes in a physical body? And where did all that come from? And it all came back to food, micronutrients, vitamins, supplementation, and changing an environment that is not conducive to disease, and changing an environment that is strong enough to fight off disease. So that's how it kind of all came to be. I started in integrative practice. It was very young. I've been in practice for over 25 years now. I've traveled all over the world. I've worked with some of the top physicians, holistic practitioners, you name it. Anybody in the healing field, I've been open and receptive to continue to learn on this journey. And they've coined me the metabolism whisperer, and I kind of chuckle at that. And Dr. Oz kind of made that very vocal on some of his shows. But I think how that came about is, in my journey of learning all of this, I learned that the metabolism and metabolic pathways, which were the things that regulated how the body adapted to its current environment, whether that's weight gain or fertility issues or a terrible menopause transition or fatigue or autoimmunity or hair growth or inflammation, that those were all related to metabolic pathways or passages, if you can, in the body that were nutrient dependent. And if you really listened to the body and studied what was going on with the body, that you could use those same nutrients to change those metabolic pathways for the better. So it is not about abstaining or doing without. It's about turning towards solution, being in awe of your body when it's struggling, being appreciative in your body when it's in a state of dysfunction or dis-ease, because that state is where your body can express a problem enough to get someone, hopefully you and your team, to pay attention, give it what it needs, because it's really crying, whispering, screaming for help. So we have books. We have the Fast Metabolism Diet, the Burn, Fast Metabolism Food Prescriptions, one of my favorite. We have 2 amazing cookbooks. But we also have a very robust community at HayliePomroy.com, where you can go for everything from, we host community events. I would encourage you, they're all free. I would encourage you to sign up for every single community event that we have. We help you learn how to engage with a healthcare practitioner. We do supplement roundtables. We do cooking classes, everything that you could kind of imagine that you would want on your health and wellness journey. So I have to believe that I've gone through everything that I've gone through in my personal health in order to learn and be open to being a lifelong learner in this journey to wellness. This change in career paths was definitely not something that I ever planned for. We wanted to do this podcast so that we could bring on other people like yourselves. Maybe you'd want to be on this podcast that have maybe had similar struggles or struggles that they are in the middle of, that they are finding some unique solutions to. I wanted to bring on practitioners and experts that I've leaned on through all of these years in practice for my clients, for my friends, for my family members, for myself, and allow you guys to share in that journey and the wisdom. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to bring some of my clients on, and we're going to talk about some of the crazy things we had to do to get them to shift some of the metabolic pathways so that they could claim their title of being outrageously healthy. I want for you to not just survive what you're going through right now, but to really thrive in your environment and really thrive in your health and really achieve what we call your health wish list. Maybe right now you don't even have a health wish list. You don't even know what it would be like to feel outrageously healthy, what it would feel like to wake up in the morning and be like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, have an abundance of energy, feel like you metabolize the food that you consume, that you lay down muscle efficiently, that your bowels work like so impressive you almost want to call a friend over and have them check it out. Maybe you don't have a great libido or you're having hot flashes. Whatever it is, there is nothing off the table here. We're going to always bring it back to amazing, incredible, delicious foods, to natural therapies, to proactive steps that you can take, that you can share with your loved ones and your community so that you can achieve the health that I am here to tell you you deserve. So hold on to your spatulas, hold on to your hopes and dreams, hold on to maybe some subjects you've never thought we'd talk about on a podcast before, because we're going to go there. So again, I'm Haylie Pomroy. I am now your nutritionist. I'm here for you. Our community's here for you. Make sure that you're at HayliePomroy.com on the daily, because we are constantly posting new and incredible ways. And I also want to invite you to be part of my community. You can use the coupon code Join Me Free for free 30 days. Check it out, see if it's right for you, and you're going to get the opportunity to meet some of the most incredible people. So I hope you love this podcast. It is going to be a journey that we're going to take together, and I can't wait to hear what you think.
Thank you for listening to another inspiring episode of Power on Your Plate with Haylie Pomroy. Please remember to share the amazing science and tools with someone you love. The more we know, the more we all lift our global health together. Visit www.HayliePomroy.com to get notes from today's show and to take your education and health to a new level of success and happiness.
Information on this podcast is provided for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for the advice provided by your physician or other healthcare professional or any information contained on or in any product label or packaging. You should not use the information on this podcast for diagnosing or treating a health problem or disease or prescribing any medication or other treatment. You should always speak with your physician or other healthcare professional before taking any medication or nutritional, herbal, or homeopathic supplement or adopting any treatment for a health problem. If you have or suspect that you have a medical problem, promptly contact your healthcare provider. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking professional advice because of something you've heard on this podcast. Information provided on this podcast and the use of any products or services purchased as a result of this podcast does not create any type of professional relationship between you and any of the associates affiliated with this podcast. Information and statement regarding dietary supplements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.